Hey guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So I wanted to talk more about the mini systems that, seem to be making their appearance and have been now for quite some time. Obviously, we've had every classic system from the far past kind of making their way into this little mini world of ours. Things like the Atari Flashback. This was one of the first ones that really grabbed everybody's attention. This is the 8. This is Flashback 8. I think we're up to like 11 or 12 or something like that. But I remember when not this one, but the Flashback first came out, and I was kind of intrigued by it back then. I didn't pick it up at the time because I had an Atari. I had the games, so I'm like, what do I need that for? But then as, years went on and these things kind of got better and more games added to it, more options and stuff like that, it just kind of got more intriguing to me and I wanted to kind of look into it. And, especially something like this one, the portable. I really love this one. Willie from Arcade USA sent me this one. I had another one, and unfortunately it got lost, and I've never been able to find it. I have no idea where it went. So Willie sent me this one, and the thing I like about this is you can actually hook it up to a TV and play off a TV, which I prefer to do over the little tiny screen. But anyways, what I wanted to talk about in this video about is, we've had the recent news about the Atari 400 coming out, which is the computer, which I kind of think is cool. I mean, it's got like 25 games. It's got the ability to load more games on it. But we also have the Atari 2600 Plus, which is not necessarily a mini console like these ones, because you actually put physical cartridges into it. And of course, this is a way that Atari is wanting to make more games, physical games, and giving you the ability to play on something that's a little more modern and plug it into an HDMI TV and all the other stuff. But we also had other mini consoles in the past, like the NES Mini and the SNES Mini, which today they still kind of fetch for quite a bit of money. I never got my hands on either one of them because I never saw them in the stores for the price they were supposed to be sold at. They just didn't appear in any of the stores where I live. A lot of collectors grabbed them. A lot of resellers grabbed them. So now it's like if you want an NES Mini, you got to go on like Amazon or what is it called, eBay or whatever, and pay some crazy $100 and something for some emulation box. Not my cup of tea. But we also had, there was a Sega Genesis one, and then there was a PlayStation one. So my thought was, where are we going to go from here? Our modern consoles, like Nintendo Switch, or the Xbox, whatever. I mean, there's been so many Xboxes now. Xbox One, Xbox 360, there's Xbox this, PlayStation 4, 5. Will they one day have their mini treatment? Because, there's been a lot of other older systems that we didn't really get a mini for. I mean, I seen some oddball ones. I think TurboGrafx, didn't they make a mini for that? So there's still room to explore into the past. Game Boy, was there a Game Boy mini yet? I remember seeing something about that, but I don't know if one ever actually made it into the market. But where are we going to go when we start to run out of all the older consoles? And we have things like, like I said, we had a PlayStation Mini, but what about PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch? Are we going to get into a point where that was a dusty box? Are we going to get into a point where those will just start becoming minis, or maybe not? I mean, maybe the audience group for that or the crowd for that won't really necessarily be nostalgic for that in the future. Some of us older players, people like me who've played from the beginning of the video game era, we are still nostalgia for a lot of the old games. We love the old stuff. Like we that's why we buy things like the flashbacks, the Atari flashbacks, and the ColecoVision flashback and Intellivision flashback, because we like the nostalgia of it. We grew up in an era where video games were brand new, and we kind of started off the whole thing of playing in the arcades and playing all these new video games that just was a new thing that people in the 80s probably thought was a fad and was going to go away. But fast forward to, today, I mean 2024, even if you go back to 2020, 2015, 16, the whole gaming landscape changed. The younger kids who got into gaming were getting into things like Minecraft and Fortnite and playing games that were mostly cloud based, downloading them off the cloud. There was, the physical media aspect of it was starting to disappear. And these games required multiple, I think, what is it called, DLC or whatever. You gotta keep paying them money to make the game work. Most of the games sold wasn't even a complete game. Some of them were sold with bugs. You had to update it with software. You had to, and if you wanted to get anywhere, you had to pay more money for it. So the games kind of changed. The gaming changed, and the consoles changed. I mean, we saw the every console had a hard, like a disc or something to play or a card, and those starting to fade now. We're gonna get to a point where everything is just like downloaded right into the system. You're not even gonna, or you're playing it through a subscription, which I've talked a little bit about. I know I've gotten a lot of comments about that, the whole subscription based thing where you actually don't own the game and you just get to play it. So what's going to happen? I mean, is all these modern systems, when 10, 15 years from now, will they just all disappear? Will all the games just be gone? Or is it possible that we're going to see some Switch Mini? Or I mean, I know a lot of people are waiting for like the N64 Mini and stuff, and that's, I don't know if that ever is going to come out. Like, we do have emulation on, say, the Switch itself. Like, I have the Switch upstairs, and I can go on there and I can play the Nintendo games. I could play the Super Nintendo, and they had a Game Boy. And if you upgrade your Nintendo whatever thing, you can get N64. So, I mean, will that be it? It'll just be pure emulation at that point. Will that even be possible? Because without these games that require internet connection to constantly upgrade them, will it even be possible to play these games in an emulated form in the future? And will people actually care? I think that's the biggest thing. And when I've talked about this in previous videos, a lot of people came on and said, no, we're the last generation. Like, my generation is probably one of the last generations to really care and want to preserve video games and think about, wanting to play the older games. And perhaps the nostalgia and all that stuff is lost with the newer generation of people who don't really look at video games the same way, who are just like, yeah, they're fun, whatever, move on to the next great thing. And it's surprising that we're kind of going in this way, because we kind of felt like that was happening to us back in the day when Nintendo came out and shined a light on the world, saying, hey, video games have never died, here's Nintendo. And we were supposed to move on. We were supposed to say, okay, well, gone are the days of the very blocky graphics. Let's get into some better graphics with Nintendo. And then when PlayStation came along, it was like time to put away the Nintendo. We're now playing PlayStation. And yet we still had a nostalgia for these older systems, and we still have it today. But will this younger generation, the generation after mine, or the next one after mine, are they going to have that? Are they going to want to preserve these memories of playing games like Minecraft and Fortnite? And is it going to be possible? It's kind of interesting to think about it, and you know, whether these mini consoles will continue on or if they're just going to die out with us old farts. You know, um, at some point, you know, our old software is going to stop working. We're just going to be left with these minis. Let's face it, a lot of people buy them and they don't really play them. They put them on their shelf. It's a nice trophy to put on your shelf, but you know, honestly, I bought this. I played it a couple of times and I haven't touched it since. Frankly, if I want to play Atari, I could play it a real one. But by the time I get to that age where I'm just going to be too old, I'm not going to give a crap anyway. So it's kind of weird that this is the way it's kind of going. Anyways, I wanted to talk about that because I thought it seemed like an interesting topic. And I want to hear what your thoughts are. Do you think the minis will continue? Do you think the future generation of gamers are going to have minis? Or are they not going to give a flying crap and they just want the next best thing? Throw your comments down below. Always like to hear what you have to say. Hope you subscribe. We'll talk to you later.